All right. Well, we are going to go ahead and get started. Just want to say, first of all, thanking everybody for taking the time out of their day to jump on this call. Definitely want to take Tyshaun Allen for jumping on to present for our first webinar. If you remember when we did the kickoff back in May. This was one of the things that we wanted to introduce, to implement, into the program. Sometimes you have interns, you have, apprentices that are coming on. And so, they're working throughout the country, on various projects. And so this is kind of one of the aspects, one of the tools that we could use to kind of bring everybody together for a couple of times throughout the summer, throughout their tenure with interning, just to kind of create a collaborative shared experience. And then, the webinars, of course, it's tailored, for our partners. That's what we're calling our interns, because they are a value add. But we definitely invite, everybody on. So all the GCs, of course, target, for us to kind of be here as a support community for them as they are, learning about, kind of what industry they want to pursue, what different aspects or what different opportunities are available. And so that's one of the things that we use for the webinar, is to kind of bring visibility to different aspects of what construction has to offer. It's a huge industry, a lot of opportunity in it. And so just bringing more visibility and making those touch points. And so, the goal of it is to really just kind of bring visibility. Tyshaun's going to talk about his career, very unique career with working both in the field and in the office, just kind of sharing his story, being able to answer some questions that you may have. And so, feel free to chime in. That's why we have the live chat that's going along on the side. And so, we definitely want to open it up to any questions or comments afterwards. But we've got that live chat. And so it just kind of creates that community vibe, bringing us all together. And so, yes. So again, I don't know if you don't know me, I am Paul Robinson, former project manager at Target, and just pretty much heading up the ConstructReach initiative here. So that's me, and I'll kick it over to Tyshaun. He's the man of the hour today, but Tyshaun is kind of over IT, at Taylor Brothers, which is out of Columbus, Indiana. And so I'll let Tyshaun just kind of go ahead. He's going to talk about, his career, his experience, and provide some valuable insight for all of us. So thanks, Tyshaun.
Okay, thank you everybody for attending. I see we got some people on. I'm nervous inside, but I hope you can't see my legs twitching. I'm going to try to share my screen. I created a PowerPoint like 10 minutes ago, so hopefully we got some information so you guys can follow along. Let me see if I can do that. And how about this one? And you guys see that? You see that, Paul?
Yep.
Okay. So again, like Paul said, I'm Tyshaun. I've been with Taylor Brothers Construction for 16 years now. And currently I'm in information systems and do a little bit of marketing. About me, a little bit about me, I'll keep this brief. I was born July 5th, 1984, which makes me 34. I was born in Harlem, New York. It's a community inside of New York City. It's actually in Manhattan for most people that don't know that. Harlem is just a community. I was born in Harlem Hospital. So with that, I am from New York. I moved to Indiana, I would say my last semester of high school. So I was about 16 or 17. And I finished high school here and started college shortly after. I got a love for music, technology, and a lot of other things like food. I like art. I just like new things. I love technology though, in all facets of technology, whether it's electronic technology or just innovation in life and anything that's just improved. Why construction? So the moving here introduced me to a young lady I went to high school with, and her father was in the business, and she had told me about him, take him seriously. I thought he was just a guy that had a truck and a couple of men working with a small firm. Later on, I went to meet him, and he actually offered me a job. based on a conversation we had about how I was going to pay for education. I had planned to go to school locally because education was just cheaper to stay local. I didn't want to go to the big university. I had this plan in my head that I was going to come here to Indiana. I was going to make all the money in Indiana, and then I was going to head back to New York and decided to become like some IT technician in New York. So I met the guy and he said, you know, how are you going to pay for school? Working at CVS, because it was like $7 an hour. And I said, well, I was just going to save up, I guess. He said, I'll give you a job. Do you know what a laborer is? I said, nope. He said, well, I can give you a job doing construction and it pays $14.50. So I was sold, right? So that's why I got into construction, from a friendly introduction. I was doing it to pay for my education. There was money involved. And I also thought that it would be a good way to learn something different. Did I like it? No way. I didn't even like it before I started. I knew nothing about it. I didn't know anybody in the business other than this guy I met. I didn't know anybody from New York that actually worked construction. A lot of times I would see people on the train and they'd be dirty. I just never put two and two together. Maybe they work construction. Maybe they came from a job site. I didn't see a lot of hard hats, which meant they either wasn't being safe or they weren't working construction. But in New York, it's a lot of unsafe construction workers. I got into it. I was a laborer for about 5 years. And when I tell you I hated it, I'm not lying. I hated it. I hated waking up early. It was hard work. It was hot. It was uncomfortable conditions. And most importantly, I was doing something that I didn't have any experience with. So it was challenging. It was new. And most of the time, we hate things that are challenging at first. And then when you can't figure things out, you either grow to try to figure them out and solve the solutions to your problems, or you just grow up to hate things and change. But I started to develop a liking for it when I met my field mentor. And that was a guy by the name of Joe Courier. I had worked with a lot of people in construction and nobody kind of helped me through the change that I was going through in my life and being new to this and learning it. But Joe was, he was real particular. He was real patient, and he was somebody that kind of knew every facet of the business and the work. So as I'm out there in the field, we're doing new things like laying floor tile one day and ceramic tile. And Joe's teaching me how to do it. And he's teaching me parts that I probably didn't need to be doing, or he didn't need me to do, but he was just giving me the information to understand why I was doing what I was doing, how to put everything together. So I spent 5 years out there. Most of the time was spent with Joe. 80% of the time we worked on factories. We worked on facilities in Louisville, Kentucky. We worked on residential stuff at the time. We did a lot of concrete work. He and I was like a two-man crew for a long time. Now, there's rumors going around that Joe carried me, but I carried myself after a little bit of time. So there was a summer that we had got real busy, and then winter came, and I was unemployed. This was like the first time I had been laid off. I didn't even know what it meant. Now, needless to say, because I didn't like construction as much, I was happy with it. So I was going to the unemployment office, and I was getting a check, and it was about $350 a week. And that was cool because I could stay home and I was getting paid. And the girl I was dating at the time, I went to her house and her father saw me. He said, "Why aren't you at work?" I said, "I'm laid off right now." And I was kind of proud. I was like, "I'm laid off. I really don't want to go back to work." He was like, "Well, all right, come see me in a month. Maybe we'll find some more work for you." And a month went past, and 2 months went past, and 3 months went past, and I was still laid off. And he happened to ask me what I was going to school for at the time. So in between starting working in the field and me getting laid off, I had started to go to the community college to pursue an IT degree in networking. So I said, I'm going to get my networking degree in IT. And he popped up one day. He was like, "I got an IT department." And I was like, "There's no IT guys in construction. What do you guys need that for?" He was like, "Of course we need IT. We got computers and systems and phones." And I was like, "That's all the stuff I like." So he said, "Let me talk to somebody in the office and see if they need some help." So he came back to me and he said, "While you're laid off and while you're not working in the field, you can intern as a help desk guy and you can support the IT guy." So this was my first actual time going inside the office other than going to get a paycheck from the payroll people and learning that there was an IT department and there was an HR department. And I started to see all the different departments inside of construction. So Did that for probably 6 months. And the general field superintendent came in one day and he said, all right, we got some work. So you got to get back to the field. And I cried at home because I knew it was those conditions I didn't like and hard work again. And I was leaving the comfortability of the office with the air conditioner and the heat and the free lunch and the nice people. And I was clean, most importantly. As you can see, I like to be clean. So we did that, and I went back into the field, and I was miserable because I liked the office so much. It wasn't because I was doing construction again. I just found something I liked more. So the job opening, right? After about a year being in the field again, the IT guy, he approached the guy that got me my job, and he says, I really got a need for an extra person in the office. And, you know, Ty's been coming in, he's been helping out, he's been going back in the field. So if he wants to come in the office, there's a position for him. If not, I need to fill his position. So I raised both hands. I'm like, yeah, in the office, I want to go. And I took a pay cut, but that's how important the job was to me, and that's how much I liked it. And then I started to understand all of the things technology touches in construction. So the office life, yes.
Your PowerPoint is blank on our screen. So I wanted to wait until you finish that and reference it again. Just I don't want to cut you
Anything?
off. It's just blank.
Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you. We can hear you and see you. We just can't see the PowerPoint. So if there's some visuals that you have.
No, not very many visuals, just bullet points. I'll send it to you guys later. It's like I said, I made it 12 minutes ago. So this is office life. So I talk about what my career was like inside the office. So when I came into the office, I'm out of the field now, and I was a help desk support technician. And my responsibilities were to take all of the frontline calls from all of the users inside the office and in the field that had technology. I'd help them troubleshoot devices. I'd help the people inside the office troubleshoot devices as well. Any of the technology that we had. And then about 3 years after that, I became a network admin. So I started working a little bit more on the back end of the network and kind of designing the architecture and kind of rolling out processes with our technology and helping the guys. Probably 3 to 4 years ago, I got involved in information systems, which everybody knows what a process is and a procedure is, but you know, every business has these, and a lot of times they connect to technology. And I found myself liking the processes and the daily operations of the construction industry and trying to make things better and figure out how we can do things better. And one time I went to the boss and I said, you know, you go to these trips and you go talk to these people, and I'm just curious, how does a construction company go about getting work? What's that process like? So we began talking about that, and I've been asking questions for the last couple of years. And one time he said, well, let's just go on a trip together so you can actually see what it's like and what it takes to get work and how we network and what kind of relationships you got to build to sustain a business. So for the last couple of years, I started going to some conferences and kind of meeting some of our customers and talking to potential customers and seeing how hard it was to land one customer to be able to build one thing and to make that relationship last. And I started to fall in love with that because I'm a people person. I like people, good and bad, if that makes sense. But I like talking to people, and I like our business. I kind of like our company a lot more than a lot of companies, so it's easier to sell this company. That's my story. So the kid from New York who never thought about a construction job or career or even knew what construction was, primarily because I never saw it where I was from. And even when I got to Indiana, I didn't see construction. So me and Paul talk about a lot of times why the industry lacks exposure. I just think it's not something that's in front of everybody, and it's not something that is promoted very much as some of the other industries are. So I think it's our job and the people that's in this industry to share the experience, and most importantly, tell them why you got into construction, but why you stayed. So some of the insights I've learned about construction is it's not just building. So a lot of the things that you hear is, oh, if you want to be in the construction industry, you got to work with your tools, or I don't want to build stuff and I don't want to get dirty. I'm living proof that I'm not getting dirty anymore. There's so many other opportunities inside the field and outside the field that won't require you to get dirty, that require you to use your mind. But the building part is like motivational for me, because the stuff we build helps people. We think of items like hospitals and roads. I got a lot of pride in some of the projects that we touch, because you can actually say you were part of like putting something together for somebody. Like take a hospital, for instance. Without that hospital, there's no care. Without that road, there's no way to get somewhere. Without that bridge, it doesn't connect two places. Schools, for example, you're building schools for children, schools for your future children or siblings or whatever that matter. So I always say it's not just building. The different departments, technology, accounting, marketing, HR, lawyers, design. There's just many different departments in the industry that you can be a part of. I'm not a fan of staying and doing the same thing for a long time, and I think that's what construction is. No two job sites are alike. No two projects are alike. So if you are the type of person that likes new things and likes to experience things from a different point of view, or things change, construction is that. But the goal is teamwork, because nothing gets built by itself and nothing gets built by one person. And it's true teamwork. And the definition of true teamwork for me is I can't do my job unless you do your job and unless we agree to do it together. So at the end, we become this unified team on a large scale, you know, from your subcontractors to the field personnel, to the design people, to your own internal people. Other thing I learned is you'll need these skills later in life. So as a field laborer, I used a hammer. I used some of these tools. I didn't know what they were, to the point where my girlfriend thinks today I'm the best picture hanger ever, because she tells me every week to hang me pictures. And some of those small, soft skills that allowed me to be able to do this stuff today is what construction gave me. Also, it is something new every time. You see buildings going up and you see new design and architecture, and you kind of think to yourself, like, I never saw a building like this before, and how'd that get like that? So it gets intriguing as you go through your career and you start to see this stuff. So those are my insights. My final thoughts for all the interns out there and current people that's working in construction. I talked to some people in an organization I work for, and I just asked them, before you got to college, did you know you were going to be in the construction industry? And it was 10 of them at a table, and none of them thought they'd ever be here. And I was curious to how they got there and why they stayed. And a lot of the reasons were because of building stuff. And they found out that they were actually good at construction, but it was never on their radar. They had something else in mind. So I like to think that I'm that person. Like, I was going to be an IT guy, but I wanted to work for a technology company. And I ended up being an IT guy for a construction company and doing marketing for construction. So some of my final thoughts are, what I've learned is to ask questions to your peers, ask questions to the people in the office you work with, ask questions to the people in the field, because those questions create conversations, and it kind of opens you up to tell your story to somebody that might be looking for some information, and it opens that person up to tell you a little bit more about something you don't know. And that's how we're going to learn, and that's how we're going to spread the word about construction, by telling people some stuff they don't know and by people asking the right questions. So going back to the story with my boss is, what are you going to school for? IT. Oh, I have an IT department. If that conversation, those questions never occurred, I probably wouldn't be sitting here today. I would have left. I would have went back to New York, worked for the phone company, or maybe I would have ended up a construction worker in New York that doesn't wear a hard hat on the train and still dirty. So that's what I have. Connect with people, network, talk to everybody. Everybody's got something to offer, even if they're not in the industry, even if they're not in the office with you, even if you're in the field and this person's in the office. Don't be afraid to talk to those people, and then understand the business, because it's fun. When me and Paul get together, we have a lot of fun, and we got a goal in mind, and there's a message we're trying to spread, but it's fun to build. It's fun to inform. It's fun to educate. And this business is fun. I haven't met too many people that aren't fun, from our customers to the partners that we share work with. Everybody in our office is fun. Of course, I'm the funnest, and I'm one of the coolest, you can ask my peers. But that's all I have. And I think now we might open it up to questions. You did, Paul? Everybody there? Everybody still alive?
Yes. That was great. Thanks, Tyshaun.
Trying to get back to my window. There we go.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see if any questions come in. Hopefully we get some questions from the interns out there, or just comments about their experience.
First person that asks a question, a good question, Paul's going to show up to your next birthday party with $100. They must.
But one of the things that you said that I think is very important, is the exposure. Mm-hmm. When you don't see something, then it doesn't cross your radar. And if you don't see opportunities, or if you're not exposed to the industry, then sometimes you can't connect the skill set that you do have, to what's out there. Or sometimes you're never able to come into an environment that cultivates a skill set that you maybe didn't even know that you didn't have,
Mm-hmm.
And so the exposure piece of it is good. Let's see, we've got Nicholas. Let's see, how do you recommend gaining skills in the industry when you do not have an engineering or construction background? It's a very good question.
Yeah. So like my mentor, I had Joe Corrier. You find a guy, or maybe you find a couple of people and start there. But the gaining the skills, there's educational stuff. I always like to look towards the people that's been doing it longer than me, Nicholas. So I start there with those people, ask those questions to an engineer that or maybe you can find somebody that can point you in the direction of an engineer. In the construction background, I think it's something you learn with a good mentor. Like I said, Joe Corrier, he was my mentor. He taught me, how to use every tool out there. I knew how to use any of them, and he taught me how to do things I couldn't even do that I'm doing in my home now, just from talking to him and him showing me. So find that person that's going to be willing to help you, somebody you get along with, and it becomes easier to learn from them, if that answers your question.
That's good. Let's see. We've got one from Steve. It says, what would you like to see owners do differently?
I like to see owners, because owners have their own specific job. So I like to see owners empowering from the bottom up, if that makes sense. It's a lot more creativity coming from the younger generation, and maybe not taking it from top down all the time and getting stagnant in the way that things are or have been. So trust your younger people to get out there and spread this word. They're there for a reason. They got interested because of something in their own mind. Maybe it wasn't something that you thought of, but take their ideas. I learn from our younger staff every day. I take all their ideas, marketing ideas, for instance. The guy came in the office the other day and he was like, I think it'd be a good idea for us to get a hard hat air freshener. I was like, damn, that's kind of cool. I want to steal that. So I did, and we getting one. So talk to your young people. They got ideas. They know what to do.
Let's see. John says, thanks, Ty. What are your future goals in the construction industry?
To stay in the marketing. Hey, John, how you doing? To stay in marketing, to stay business development, to keep making relationships, maybe one day be one of the leaders in the company that people look towards for some advice. And I like human resources. I like the people aspect of the business. I'm more for the people. So engaging the people and just figuring out how this industry can keep growing and keep being more diverse.
Good. Let's see. Michael says, did you find it difficult to gain the respect of others in your field at the start of your career?
I want to look you right in the eye. They hated me, Michael. They hated me because I couldn't help them. So I was this guy that everybody had to show everything to, and I was slowing the process down, and I was out there and I didn't get it. They couldn't leave me alone, but they hated me for that first year and a half. And I think that was primarily the reason I got put with Joe. So Joe, like I say, I owe it all to Joe because he was able to take the time out. We were working on smaller projects and I got to ask him questions on a personal level. And he told me, he said, they just hate you because you can't help them. And I said, well, I want to help them. So he started to show me everything I needed to learn. By the third year, I was on job sites. Nobody had to hold my hand no more. I was running around pumping my chest out. And I felt a lot more confident for two reasons, because I was valuable to the team and they were treating me like a team member. So yeah, it wasn't cool that first year and a half. It was all bad. I thought about quitting, but every Friday the paycheck came out and I was like, I'm not leaving because this is good money.
But, that's one of the good things, that's one of the things that's actually kind of unique, when it comes to being on a site, because you have these various trades, and they're all focused on one particular thing. And everybody, of course, has a schedule that they try to adhere to. And, when you think about these various, trades that are working together, that teamwork becomes very, very, very critical. And so, that's one of the few jobs that you can have where you come in and you actually see, like, by the time you leave, progress, and so you have this environment where you can ask questions because things are happening like in real time, and so you can ask for something and then you actually get to see like the answer to your question, what I'm saying, like immediately almost. And so, when you're very proactive in asking those questions, if you've got that great support, from a field perspective or what have you, or even in the office, and taking that initiative, it definitely, kind of bodes well for your career, and you want to be able to add value. And so that's a good thing.
So the right question helps too. And that's stuff I spend time trying to figure out to generate the question. I still ask questions to this day. I go to the manager's office, the estimator's office, everybody's office. I want to learn. I want to learn all aspects of it. I'm in the payroll people's office because some way we're all connected and we're all one team and we're trying to accomplish something and it's together. So I'm asking everybody questions. Sometimes it's just to clarify what I think, and sometimes it's stuff I don't know. Most of the time it's stuff I don't know.
Yeah, great questions. Let's see, any more questions out there or comments?
You can ask anything. Nothing's off the table. Sorry, my PowerPoint didn't show.
Yeah, we'll try to figure out, if there was anything from the platform perspective so that we can make sure that it doesn't happen again. Yeah, we'll get that. But you did good. You did good, man. We've got our second webinar that's going to come up. I'm not sure when school starts for some of the interns and partners, as we call them. But we definitely want to have another one. It's gonna be predominantly about store planning. You guys maybe on various target projects, and so gaining visibility, seeing what Target is doing as a whole, and having them present kind of their different prototypes or what have you, maybe that design process and kind of everything that it entails, just to kind of give you guys another level of exposure to construction as well. And so this is a series that we want to keep going. This is something that we want to do on a regular basis, bringing individuals in such as Tyshaun, that can kind of shed light on their career and answer any questions that you guys may have. We are here. We're trying to build these reachable opportunities through construction. We're trying to make the connection points. We're trying to, have an experience to where you feel like you're getting something out of it, where, when you leave, we maintain, that connection, we maintain, the relationship, but also that you guys are getting some support that you need, some insight, because you're budding adults and making a decision about what you want to do with your career, is very important. So we're here to help, support in any way that we can. Let's see, it says, I encourage all partners to keep the conversation going on ConstructReach. Yep. The mentors are out there, definitely. Like Steve said, just to reiterate that, I mean, you've got people that have been in the industry for a long time. You've got people with so many different, experiences. And when we bring those all together, it's for the benefit of you guys, to make sure that you have a successful career, and so whatever we can do, we want to be able to do. And so continue to engage in dialogue that's on the forum. We've been having some good dialogue on there lately. And so, yeah, I mean, like I said, once again, ConstructReach is here for you guys. We thank Target for just kind of putting all of this together and, having the connectivity, creating these collaborative shared experiences so that we don't feel like we're all alone, because we're not. So.
And Paul, if you want to share my email address, if anybody's got questions, interns, you got questions, shoot them to me about school, not about school, about construction, whose school's the best, shoot them to me.
Yeah, definitely. Well, if that is it, we will wrap up.
Put it in there.
Yep. All right. Well, once again, thank you, Tyshaun. Thank you, everybody, for taking the time out to join on to the webinar, and be on the lookout for the next one. Okay. Take care. Bye-bye.